Those that don't have an internal monologue, what is writing like for you? U/A Porkchop Express. This whole thread is spinning me out, man. U/PDX Blue Dog Wizard. I've got no inner monologue, no voice in my head. I also can't visualize objects, places, or creatures and see them like others seem to be able to. U/Sofa Scientist. Words just come out and I put 'em down on the page. I don't think of how I'm going to word something. I just have a general idea of where I'm going with the narrative and the words flow out instinctively. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's as if I'm writing on autopilot. I was astonished to find out that some people have internal monologues. It seems like it'd be horrible to have a voice in my head all the time. My brain thinks by making spontaneous connections between concepts, but that's just me. And I'm sure other people without internal monologues think in entirely different ways. I can imagine a voice in my head, or another person's voice in my head, but only if I choose to do so. Sometimes while reading I will softly narrate the text to myself internally. But not always intentionally, nor every time. Edit. Upon further thought, the best way to describe how I write something would be that I'm translating on the fly from what are simply concepts in my mind to English. U/ape with keyboard. People don't have a voice in their head. U/humanoid 1013. I don't think I have internal monologue. I have to force it. It doesn't happen naturally, ever. When I write fiction, it feels like I'm watching a movie inside my head. I see the characters and hear how they talk, and I also hear the narrator. On the other hand, when I write on Reddit for example, my thoughts just come out of my fingertips as I write. I never hear my own voice or anything like that. I never think in a voice when I'm doing something. Is that what you mean by internal monologue? U/smell my upper lip. I think in words and images. But mostly images. I argue in my head with words. Or when I think about what to say to someone. The rest is in images and what I noticed during writing fanfiction. It takes time to translate images into words. I usually first wrote a few keywords down before I wrote out the full sentence. It takes more time, but I was able to write a vivid picture in the end. I wrote rated R Dragon Ball Z fanfiction, by the way. Shameful, I know. U/thoughts obligations. For clarity, there are varying levels of internal monologue. Not everyone is dead silent all the time. I can force a voice. It just doesn't show up unless I want it to. I find when I write, sometimes that voice will come out. Not always. But I'll sometimes imagine I'm saying my words out loud like a speech. I'm a very fast reader, typer, and writer, so a voice would only slow me down. Unless I'm being very precise. I simply type. It just happens. U/Big Bite 3. Holy fuck, I just learned this is a thing. For me, words, sentences, paragraphs just flow. I'm not much of a storyteller, but I can write some great academia papers on the fly. I don't hear a voice. I can't even force myself to hear a voice. It's just silence and I conceptualize the words. This explains so many things in my life. To make matters more interesting, I actually confuse myself if I try to think something out. I have to write my thoughts as they flow and go from there. I work as a software developer. Trying to think out new projects has always been a challenge. Reading is different for me. I read. I absorb some. Read again. absorb more and move on. I don't actively recall what I read until I have a question or problem in front of me that correlates and I can visualize a word or phrase that then satisfies the issue. FML thanks for this op. U / walking _on _ the sun. In my day-to-day life, my thoughts are about 80% images, 20% monologue. Monologue usually only comes up if I'm thinking about conversations or writing. But even then, not all the time when I write. Sometimes things get started with an internal monologue, and if I get in the groove, the words just flow. Like when speaking, I don't plan out every word I say. The thoughts just come out on the fly. U / digfra _ fire. I hate my internal monologue. It's always there and loud. And it makes me overthink everything constantly. U / Rauschus _ Reddit. God, this is just making me envious of anyone who doesn't have to deal with a constant narrator for every mental process. U / Matty80. This thread is fascinating to me because I assumed that everyone has an internal monologue until I realized that I have no sense of internal vision. People apparently read books and can envisage the events described therein, but I seemingly can't see something unless I am literally seeing it. As an example, I could describe my wife in total detail if she were standing in front of me. But given that she is not, I would struggle to describe her at all. She has blue eyes and is attractive to me. But otherwise I only know that I would recognize her by sight. This is fucking me up. I'm also becoming aware that I don't actually know what I look like unless I'm seeing myself in a mirror. It is seemingly key that we all look the opposite of what we assume because mirrors present us the wrong way around. Yeah, this is weird. U / combat haiku. I've got 4 novels out and no internal monologue. I've always been fascinated by the rules and norms about how words are used, and I think I just put them together in a way that's pleasing to me. As for crafting a story, I'm a pantster and I don't usually know what's going to happen in advance. Beyond broad strokes, I've never considered it a handicap. I only relatively recently learned that most other people have a voice in their head. U / body snatchers. This American Life did a segment. https www.thisamericanlife.org/731/what-lies-beneath/act-2-6 on this recently. It blew my mind and gives a good description of both sides. U / Casper loves all. Wait. Am I the only one that didn't know some people don't have an inner voice? This is truly scary to think about. I love my inner voice. He helps me work shit out. I can't even imagine how it would be to write something. A lot of erasing and rewriting. I'm so sorry for those that suffer from this. U / Sharktoss. This whole thing just caused chaos in my head. I definitely have a voice in my head, but not like some people describe it. I can't talk with the voice because it's just me thinking. I can't think while I'm talking in my head because that's my thinking. I am so confused. U / Mom likes me the least. It's hard to write without losing my thoughts halfway through it, since I have nothing to hold them with. Images, sounds, words. I forget them or scramble them up pretty easily. Had to rewrite this comment a few times. Actually, doesn't happen that often, but it's enough to bother me. U / BBY _ celery. Wait, some PPL don't have an inner monologue. u/pixel_zealot. What's an inner monologue? People who don't have it say they just write words as they come out. I thought that's what everyone does. Are you dizzy? Lots of people realizing they may have a fantasia. Chronofish. I'm having an internal dialogue as I read the comments on this thread. And I'm literally saying to myself, how do you not think in words? Do you also not visualize? The emotion thing is even stranger. Then it occurred to me. When I'm happy and excited I feel those emotions. But they rarely come with an internal dialogue. But sad, stressful emotions? Yeah. Lots of internal dialogue. The masked hamster. That my thoughts don't form words by default doesn't mean I can't have thoughts of words. When I need to imagine speech, I do. The difference isn't that a person with an internal monologue thinks in words and a person without. An internal monologue lacks that ability. Because typically it isn't a form of a fantasia. Rather, we all think in abstract concepts and a person with an internal monologue automatically generates a monologue from it and often isn't aware of thought that isn't internally vocalized. The only time it has felt limiting instead of freeing is when I tried to use dictation software to write prose. I couldn't manage to think of the things I wanted to say and vocalize them at the same time. I don't know if that's the same for people with an internal monologue. If that is because of the way I'm wired. Or if that's just because Nice never exercised them together. April Dawn believes. I don't mind the inner monologue. I hate the music always playing in the background. WTF does my brain play music non-stop? I don't ever listen to the radio anymore. *edit. I can't choose what is playing. I've tried to override it. Doesn't work. Mine is usually a clip of a song playing repeatedly. It happens day and night. Non-stop and sometimes makes it difficult to get to sleep or get back to sleep if I wake up to use the bathroom or something. It could be a kid's song BC I have a toddler. It could be music I know from my past or even Christmas songs. It's there right along with my regular thoughts. Only being in deep concentration makes it stop. Yes. I am ADD. Remove the HBC I'm not hyper. *Cube imitation. That internal monologues actually exist. The MCM80. If this is a thing, is it then impossible for them to play out a conversation in their head? I often think ahead about important convos. And it is in my head as if it is being spoken out loud. I can monologue those words internally for both parties. Without that you'd have to say it all out loud. I'm still confused as to what defines this idea of no internal monologue. To me that could be something as simple as practicing the opening part of my speech internally. So they do not have that ability? Graham the goldfish. Wait. What? I had no idea an internal monologue was a thing. I thought that was just for narrating in films and stuff. U_S_U_G_G_S. Exactly like JD's from Scrubs. Confused in KY 2019. How do people with no inner monologue read in their heads? Like how do you read? You are saying the word to yourself when you read. Just not through your lips and vocal cords. How is it possible to read words from a book if you have no internal monologue? Fantasy staples. If you can have a conversation with yourself in your head for no reason besides wanting to, then yes. You have an internal monologue. You bohemianish. I write what comes to mind. As someone whose thoughts are silent, I don't see why hearing your thoughts is necessary to be able to know what you're thinking. You 12-3 unome. Anyone feel like you're holding your breath when trying not to read aloud in your head? You sapphic sandwich. The more I read these comments, the more I think that no internal monologue crowd and the internal monologue crowd are the same. But just getting caught up on words, trying to explain in words something that is difficult to explain. You had _ respond 1. Upvoting. Because this is the single most interesting question I have ever seen on Reddit. But I'm not sure the person with that type of disorder would answer it. You subtly supreme. Jesus, after reading this thread, I'm not sure if I have an internal monologue or not. You shit P0 streeter anonymous. My thought process is very much impulse, feelings, and visual ideas. I can sort of read in my head, but if I start trying to do very much, I start mumbling out loud to myself. My mind wanders a lot too. I mostly only read audiobooks now, because it's a much better experience. That said, writing is a little difficult. I get ideas and impressions for things that feel cool, but it's very difficult to sort out if it is going to sound cool until I've written it down. Even then, if I do a poor job of articulating what I wanted to say, I might think it's still cool and try to convince others otherwise, and even try to rework the idea several times. It makes describing things much easier for me than most people, though. I can focus on a feeling or texture or taste or smell in the dark of my mind and focus on finding words to explain it. You position 88. I don't have an internal monologue. Thought everyone using their internal monologue. You Halabender FWT. You F_Tosa. What's an internal monologue? You Ranger Rogers 456. This shit is so wild to me, I love Reddit. You Awesome Ethan 412. People have an internal monologue? I thought that was just in movies. You Stones Throwaway 24601. Honestly, it's just a snap decision when doing any writing. I don't think about the words before I speak or write. They just come out, and it's just editing from there. If I'm writing a story instead of just a letter, I'll try to picture a scene more like I'm describing a scene in a movie. Then adapt as needed. You /FixMe59 bug. I hate my internal monologue. When I am typing or writing, my brain will combine what I am typing with my internal monologue saying what needs to be typed next, and suddenly I am skipping letters or words. You /J5892. You I probably dance. Am I the only one who doesn't know if they have an internal monologue? How do so many people just know? You /Astrabungo. I used to write novels when I had one. Then one day, after a lot of trauma, I think, my inner narrator just vanished. Haven't been able to write much since then. Which is sad. I was working on a really good trilogy, but I just can't anymore. And if you mean just writing things like this comment, I'm just writing my thoughts right as they come out. IDK. How to explain that?